All right, we're drinking wine and eating chitin. Well, we're drinking wine anyways because I drank all the whiskey and the Guinness, so I've gotten into my wife's wine. It's all right. Whatever. I'm celebrating, man. This is a major achievement for me. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. 1 credit clear. Hardest difficulty. Sagat playthrough with an Akuma victory at the end. So this took me a month. And it was a nice challenge for me. Like it was really hard for me to beat this. But it was still attainable. And like the last 2 days, I put in like 3 or 4 hours yesterday and couldn't get the clear. And then I put in probably 2 today, and I was just starting to feel fatigue, like mental fatigue. And I got the victory. It's actually funny. I beat it like in like 30 minutes today. I got the clear and I like popped off all fired up. Like you'd have heard me in the recording, but my iPhone like had a battery low like setting like right at the end and stopped recording right as I got to Akuma. I was so mad when that happened. And so I had to stop myself though. I'm like, okay, I'm only like a half hour in. I got like another 2 hours in me, at least 3 hours. And I knew I was right on the verge of getting this clear. So I was like, okay, I can't think negative. I can't be like bitter because I'm not going to be able, you can't have any distractions. At least I can't play in this. I've seen people play YouTube videos where guys like talking to his friends and hanging out and he's just kicking that ass on Super Street Fighter, but I can't. So I had to focus and that was good. That was growth for me. Like, hey, I'm gonna just not even think about, losing my clear and having to re-record it. So yeah, so anyways, after that I died like 3 or 4 times. I like died on Fei Long, died on E Honda, died on Cammy, and then finally got to Akuma again. And I eke out a victory on Akuma at the end here. Like, man, I was shocked. Like, I didn't play on him very well. I was just starting to feel mental fatigue. And mental fatigue's an interesting thing. Like, I play on a gamepad, and you can actually get like hand fatigue too, and thumb fatigue. Like, it's easier on an arcade stick. You don't get as much hand fatigue. But I actually get mental fatigue. Like, you'll see one of my strats here. I don't know what it's called. I want to call it stuffing or meaty. Like, right when he gets up, watch, I'm going to throw a tiger right there. And there's a very precise timing to that. Like, you have to throw your tiger fireball, like, at just the right frame. Like, if you throw it, you can throw it safe so that they have to block it. But if you throw it just right, like, hesitate just 1 or 2 frames and throw it a little bit late so that they don't have to block it, a lot of times they'll fucking pop up and run right into your tiger. And like, that's imperative. Like on DJ, that's useful. It's really useful on it's like imperative on Vega. Like, that's the only way I can beat Vega is like stuffing him right as he gets up. And I can't do that once I get fatigued. Like, I'll notice like that precise timing. Another thing is like Akuma does his teleport, and I sweep him when he comes in, and that's one of my major ways to get damage on Akuma. But if you sweep too late, he's gonna punish you. And you can't sweep too early. Like, there's a narrow window there, and I notice when I get fatigued, I just can't hit that window. I don't know, it's weird. It's an interesting kind of, it's not physical fatigue, and I'm not like, it's almost emotional, like, because I'm so amped up playing this, which is a thing. Like, if you get good, you probably should try to calm your emotions down so you don't like get all sweaty and your hands don't get sweaty, and because that taxes you, that's draining. Like, it's also good so you're not too tired, but you can go too far the other way. So Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. There's like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and then there's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So the naming actually screwed me up. Like, I got it into my head that I wanted to beat Akuma. Like, I was actually playing Dodonpachi and I wanted to get a 1 credit clear on the first loop, and it was super hard. Like, it was all memorizing, and you know, I was having fun, but I thought, like, if I'm playing this and putting in this much effort, I want to do something that I can record, and I'm not recording a 1-all of Dodonpachi. I'll just feel like a scrub with all of the, you know, all the shooting community. But I thought, you know what? I always wanted to beat Akuma, like, and I'm good at Street Fighter. So if I'm gonna put in time and effort, let me put time and effort into that. So I went and got Super Street Fighter 2 and played all the way through it with Ken, who's my normal player, and got to the end, and there was no Akuma, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I didn't lose. I like used save states so that I didn't lose a round, because I just needed to get to Akuma to practice on him, and then he didn't show up, and I'm like, well, what's going on? So then I load the Japanese ROM and do it again, and then he shows up. But what was happening is I was playing Super Street Fighter 2, not Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So yeah, so Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo has Akuma. And this iteration of Street Fighter 2 is very difficult. I thought before that the Anniversary Edition, I think it's called Hyper Fighting, which is confusing too, because there's another Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. But the very last iteration of Super Street Fighter 2 in the arcade, I always thought that was the hardest. And this is just as hard. Maybe harder, I don't know. This one's really hard. The AI is smart. Like, compared to Champion Edition, I can just fucking womp Champion Edition. I can't womp this. I say that, but I actually got through it pretty quick. 1 credit clear all the way to Akuma with Ken. But I couldn't fucking beat Akuma. Me and my son sat there for like 3 hours, 2 hours, and didn't win a single round on Akuma with Ken. And that's part of like why this challenge has been so fun. Like, I had to like get out of my comfort zone, and I had to learn a whole new character, and then I had to like figure out how to just to get to Akuma. So yeah, I taught myself Sagat. And I say Sagat as an original Sagat because in this game, you think there's like 13 characters you can play as. Well, really, there's like 26, because when you pick your character at the beginning, if you put in a code, you can play as a previous iteration of that character. For example, original Sagat, which I'm playing here. When you get to the title select screen, you hit punch, up, down, up, punch, and you get Sagat here. So I taught myself this character because he does heavy damage with regulars. Like, his roundhouse kick is a great anti-air and does a shitload of damage. That right there, that roundhouse kick. And then his standing fierce is another great anti-air. If they're farther away, I use the standing fierce. And it does way more damage than Ken's wimpy little jab, jab dragon punch, which I normally use to anti-air. And when you get to Akuma, man, you need to fucking do some damage. And it just takes too long chipping away at him with Ken with his wimpy little jab dragon punch. And so I'm like, well, I just need to learn a new character to play through this just to beat Akuma. And I was watching playthroughs and how people play with Sagat, and he's very zone oriented, which is how I like to play. I like to control zones. Like, you know, when you're far away, you bait them in, and then you can use just tiger punch. And then, you know, they jump in, and if they're far away, you use standing fierce. If they're up close, you do standing roundhouse like I just did right there on Cammy. And another thing is with Sagat is his fucking tiger is super fast. His tiger punch, you know, his fireball. And it has like super fast recovery. It's like overpowered, really. It's fucking gnarly. And, you know, I'm good at throwing fireballs and controlling fireballs and timing with them. So I picked Sagat. And yeah, taught myself that. And it actually took a long time for me to just get a 1 credit clear. Or just to get through the regular bunch of characters. Just like learning a new character was a lot of fun. One thing I should mention is people say that I'm playing the Japanese ROM here. What's it called? Like Master Challenge or some shit? I don't know. But they say the American version is harder. And I didn't know that at first when I started this out, but I did load up the American version and it does feel a bit harder. And what I noticed is the enemy AI seems to act the same, but the amount of damage you do is less and the amount of damage the AI does is more. And that seems to be the difference to me. I could be wrong. I only played through it once and got to Akuma and died. And this game was so hard for me that I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do the Japanese ROM. What else to say? Yeah, on E Honda here, if I hang back, I can just tiger punch him. And then if I get in close, if he gets in close, I jump kick. I jump kick and then sweep. Let's see, who's next? I mean, I would give, like, advice. Like, I like to do these BVM playthroughs and kind of walk people through. But on a fighting game, like, you really can just watch what if you really want to beat this fucking game, you're going to put in some time. And you can watch what I do, and then you just have to practice. Like, it's not like a shooter or memorizer where I can just walk you through it. Like, there's so much little intricate timings. Like, you really just got to get good. But yeah, I say that, but also watching playthroughs helped me. Like, I watched other people's playthroughs. I would like to give some advice on Akuma when we get there. I guess I should start right now because we'll be there in a minute. So, Akuma, I always start with the standing fierce every time. And I always like having attacks coming out. I like to stay aggressive on him. If you get too defensive, and he's going to take over the screen and dominate, and you're going to fucking die. So you need to have, anytime you can throw attacks out, even if you know he's going to block them, you want to just have them out. So starting with the standing fierce is safe. He almost never hits me. And sometimes I actually hit him, but at least it starts him on the defensive. And then you want, one safe thing to do is if he jumps in, you can standing roundhouse him. And sometimes he'll hurricane kick, and I have no defense to that. If he jumps in and then hurricane kicks, you're going to get fucking hit. But he usually will jump in and kick or punch, and you can get a lot of hits on him like that. And then if you hit him and he goes down, I try to throw 2 roundhouse tigers right away. So you can throw one and he'll block it, and then you can immediately get another one in too. You can get 2 in. And if you time it right with my like stuff technique, like I'm doing to Vega right here, like I just did, like you can throw it right as they're getting up, and a lot of times they'll walk into it. Akuma doesn't all that often though. So I do that. If he teleports, I try to crouching roundhouse like I'm doing right now on Sagat. I try to do that. If he's too far away though, and that's not going to connect, I do a roundhouse tiger. And then if I hit him with my sweep, I always throw 2 tiger fireballs. I try to. I don't try to jump in and jump kick Akuma very often because he will fucking anti-air you, and sometimes he'll just drain like half your health. He has like insane juggles and combos. He is ridiculously overpowered. So what else do I do? Sometimes he'll do his hurricane kick, and that one's hard to judge. Like, there's a feel to it. If I feel it, he's gonna come in deep, then I can standing roundhouse him and do a lot of damage. But if I feel like he's gonna come in shallow at the end, I do a standing what is it, medium kick? I think it's called forward kick. The one in the middle, I do that, which is a quicker attack, and that'll work. What else to say? Sometimes I can stuff them with the standing fierce tiger. think that's about it as far as my... Oh, here's another one. If he throws a fireball, standing fireball, he's typically going to throw 2. So what you try to do, if you see him throw a fireball, is jump over the first one and then start throwing your standing, or excuse me, you throw your roundhouse tiger, because that's your fastest one. And you just keep mashing it. And sometimes you can bait him into a fireball fight and he's going to lose. Like, no one is winning Sagat in a fireball fight. So here we go. Like, this is my I'm like 2 hours in right now when Akuma shows up. And I'm just starting to feel fatigue. And I felt like, man, if I lose this, I probably got maybe, another hour in me and I'm done. So see how he's teleporting in. I should be throwing 2 fireballs. I didn't. So I should have jumped over that. Sometimes if he does his jumping fireball like that a lot and he keeps his distance, man, or not if he keeps his distance, if he gets in close and throws those fireballs, it's really hard. Because you don't want to fireball him if he's in close. Like, you don't want to engage him in a fireball fight if he's in close, because it's too risky. He'll jump over you. You want to engage him in a fireball fight when he's far away. Ooh, I lost. Yeah, man, I bet my palms were sweating right here, and yeah, man, I was a stinky mofo by the end of this playthrough. Should throw 2. I didn't throw 2. If he's too close, I won't throw 2 fireballs. I probably should anyways. This is not the tightest victory. Like, I remember after I beat him, I was surprised. Like, holy shit, I did not play him very well. But apparently I played him good enough. Like, that was risky, jumping right there. Like, that was luck that I didn't get fucked on that. One thing, okay, so here's one reason I play as Sagat. So when you go on hardest difficulty, a lot of the time, like, with Ken, you can't really trade attacks with people because on hardest they just do too much damage. But with Sagat, he does such heavy damage, you can trade attacks, trade roundhouses, trade fierces, and you'll come out on top or at least tie. And that was one thing I didn't like about the American version. It felt like I couldn't even trade attacks with Fei Long. Without, I would get smashed on. And that's one of the reasons I want to play as Sagat, is I can trade attacks and his regulars do so much damage. Look at my fucking health here. How the fuck do I pull this off? I did another jump in. I don't know how I pulled this off. By the grace of God, go I. Down to 7 seconds, man. Just took a block. I should be fucking dead. God, the very last second. He jumps in and I roundhouse kick him. At literally the very last second. And I just knock his damage down enough that I win. Like, god damn, that was so close. I was so exhausted by the end of that playthrough. I didn't even like pop off. I just like stood up and like I was just, I don't know. I was sucked dry. His ending thing here is weird. His little, he's like, I am so badass, I am amazing. One-fingered push-up. Yeah, what else to say here? Yeah, I had to really dig deep to beat this. I had to learn a new character. It took me a month. Yeah, it was just the right... Oh, and then like I beat it. My first time I beat it, like my recording failed because my battery ran out, and then I had to like, okay, I can't get negative here. I gotta stay focused. So this was great. This was a growth experience for me playing this. Yeah, I even picked up I have an arcade stick, a Mad Catz Pro, and I'm showing my settings here. Like, this is my latency. I got run ahead set to 3, GPU sync on, and then what else do I got going on? My video. Okay, so I forgot to sync or set the refresh rate. I should have set it to the native resolution, but it's so close to 60 hertz that it doesn't really make a difference, and it doesn't make a big difference on Street Fighter anyways. So I guess because I didn't have it I had it at 60 instead of at 59 refresh rate. Oh, here I'm showing I had VSync on, which adds a frame of lag. But anyways, because I had the refresh rate at 60, which isn't native, the game was playing slightly faster than it would have in the arcade. And the faster it plays, the harder it is for me. Like, if I play World Warrior, I can fucking just womp on that game. You have all the time in the world to time everything. The faster it is, the harder. And on this one, I had it at just the default speed, which is in the middle, I believe. I believe you can set it one faster. But yeah, so I started playing on my arcade stick more, and right now I play on my arcade stick when I play shooters and beat 'em ups, but I'm still better on the pad. But yeah, so that's something that, something to develop next, is to get better on the arcade stick. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this with me, and if nobody does, I'll just be stoked to go back from time to time and remind myself that I did this. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.